Welcome to Keeping It Current, your quick source of information covering what is happening with Potatoes USA and within the U.S. potato industry. As many of you have heard, the Mexican Supreme Court voted unanimously in favor of allowing all consumers in Mexico the opportunity to enjoy potatoes from the United States. With us today is John Toaspern to provide some insights on what this ruling means for our industry.
Hello, my name's John Toaspern. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Potatoes USA, and I really am glad to have the chance to talk to you today about a very important development. On April 28th, the Mexican Supreme Court ruled by a vote of 5-0 in favor of overturning a 2017 lower court decision that prevented the Mexican federal government from implementing regulations to allow for the importation of fresh U.S. potatoes throughout the country. The ruling marks the end of a decade-long legal process that began when Mexico's potato industry, Compapa, sued its government to prevent competition from import. This is a huge victory for the U.S. potato industry and represents years of work by the NPC and Potatoes USA to support the Mexican government in defending these cases throughout the Mexican legal system. However, contrary to many of the headlines, this does not mean that the market is now open and exports of U.S. fresh potatoes can be shipped throughout Mexico. There are still steps that need to occur. How long these will take is the million, or shall I say, $200 million question, as that is a conservative estimate for what this market will become. The very first thing that needs to occur is for the Supreme Court to publish its ruling, which clearly states that the Ministry of Agriculture has the authority to determine import regulations based on science, and that this process was properly followed in the case of U.S. potatoes. It is expected that this will occur by mid-June. Once the ruling is published, then the other outstanding cases brought by Compapa need to be resolved or dismissed. The legal precedent in the ruling is clear, so this should occur. It is just a question of how long it will take. The other actions that need to occur is for the Mexican Ministry of Agriculture to reinstate the regulations that were in place when the lawsuits were brought. The most important of these is the publication on the Senacica website of the requirement sheet, which details the requirements for the importation of U.S. potatoes. As a reminder, in addition to the growing, packing, labeling, and testing requirements associated with the importation of fresh potatoes into the 26-kilometer border zone, these requirements include that the potatoes be packed in bags of 20 pounds or smaller and labeled with the following legend in Spanish: "This product must not be used for sowing." It is important to note that the pack size does not apply to chip stock. I wish I could say when all of this will be completed and exports allowed, but these steps will certainly take at least a few months. We're also certain that Compapa will lobby the Ministry of Agriculture and others not to proceed. One approach that Compapa can use to try to delay implementation is to renegotiate the market access agreement. And while we may not like all the requirements, any negotiations will add years of delay to this process. Countering Conapapa's efforts within Mexico is the desire of the avocado growers in the state of Jalisco to export avocados to the United States. Their access to the U.S. is dependent upon the successful implementation and importation of U.S. potatoes into Mexico. Many senior officials in the U.S. government have made it clear that this is a top priority for U.S.-Mexico trade relations. These include Secretary of Agriculture Vilsack, who stated, "We look forward to resuming bilateral technical engagements to finalize import requirements as soon as possible." U.S. Trade Representative Tai, in meeting with her Mexican counterpart, emphasized the importance of several ongoing issues, including science and risk-based regulatory approaches in agriculture, and access for U.S. fresh potatoes to all of Mexico. U.S. Senators Crapo, Bennett, Snowe, and others have raised this issue in hearings on Capitol Hill. Potatoes USA and the National Potato Council will continue to work with our legal team, technical experts, and representatives in Mexico, as well as the USDA, FAS, and APHIS officials in Mexico City and Washington, D.C., to push for and assist with the implementation of the needed steps as soon as possible. I personally have been working on this issue since 1999 when I joined the board, and will not stop until U.S. potatoes are on the shelves of Mexico City, Monterrey, Guadalajara, and everywhere in Mexico, and U.S. shipping potatoes are being processed throughout the country as well. So please, feel free to reach out to me at john@potatoesusa.com if you have any questions. Thank you very much, and take care.